Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Tackle Shop Live. Covering Shiner. I love it, buddy. You were here early.
The next day you called me up. You told me I'm your little buttercup.
That's a good one, man. Bob Donahue, how are you, pal? Patrick Kingry. What up, buddy?
I know what I feel. Please tell me I love
Tim
is
McPhee.
real. You make me smile when I think of
Chris
you.
Bettinger.
If I am down, knowing how you're blue.
How you doing? Robert Murray, what do you say, buddy? Lane Graves is in the house. Michael Bradley. Michael. Yeah, man. Randall Middle's here. East Stacks Fishing, as always. Johnny Kopp. Good seeing you this week, Johnny. It was nice talking with you. Ron's back Bassin in the house. Scott Shope. What's up, Scott? Hope things are good for you, buddy. Jim Saban's here. Yeah, man. Joseph Cascarino, of course. Of course, man. Robert Mills, Mike Hayer, Mark. Happy Thursday, buddy. Right on, Conway. Scott Luckoff. Trey, how are you, pal? Shane McNaughton. What's up, Shane? Man, Robert Fretz is here. David Schottelmeyer, Matthew Weimer, as always, every week, buddy. Good to see you, pal. Jeff Reed's here. Gio Miller. TP. Kirk Blackador, how are you? Man, oh man, Planky, Greg, how are you? Wow, what a great crew tonight. Good to see everybody stopping in. Holy moly, what a week. Wind is all we've been having around here. Man, it's been absolutely crazy with wind, and we've been fighting it like crazy. I know everybody's fighting it. I'm not the only ones fighting the wind, but we went out fishing. I went trout fishing. Yeah, I went trout fishing. Go ahead. Bust on me. You can all you want. Had a great time. Went to a natural reproducing trout stream here in Pennsylvania that I never knew that was one that close to us. It was phenomenal. We had a great time. Caught a bunch of native brown trout, man, all the way up to 19 inches. It was something. It was we fished minnow baits, like little gulp minnows, twitching them along, man. It was freaking cool, man. They were smashing it. Had a good time doing that. And then Tuesday, George and I went down striper fishing on our annual striper trip. Didn't fare real well with that because I don't know what was going on there, but we did catch a couple. Had a great time doing that. On Tuesday, took a little time off, and I want to thank my pro staff and our employees for helping us out here at the shop while we were gone. Man, you guys did a great job. We appreciate that very much. We got the greatest people working for us, Nick. Our pro staff and our employees, man, are the best. Hardcore guys.
Everybody.
Yeah, just great, man. This work so hard for us, and we really appreciate them. Like they would never, ever understand. But anyway, we appreciate you guys for stopping in every Thursday night here on Tackle Shop Live that we do. Man, we love doing this show. It's a lot of fun talking tackle, talking fishing, talking raw techniques, and just busting out everything we know, and just love to pass it on. And you guys are always commenting and having some great comments on our live chat there, which is cool. So go ahead and jump on there and chat away with all the guys on there. It's so cool to see that. And while you're at it, like and share and comment on our site, on our all of our social media sites there, and get this rolling. Get it out to your friends. See if they want to stop in and listen to us chit chat about fishing. We're always anxious to have new people stopping in, and we appreciate all the new guys that stop in and see us and hang out with us for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And we appreciate you guys, even the OGs, man. The OGs on here have been with us since there's so many of them that's been with us since day one. We started this during COVID I remember. And we started walking around the shop one day with a phone, Nick, and just like raw doing it right on the Facebook, and just walking around the shop. Remember those days, George?
Sure do.
Yeah. And we just kind of ran with it. And then when things kind of opened back up and we were rolling, we kind of stopped and everybody was like, whoa, wait a minute, man. We like that. Let's do more of that. So that's how it all started. And it's really good to see you guys. The guys have been with us for that long, but we are always glad to have new guys stopping in, and hopefully you'll become longtime listeners, because that's why we do it, so that we all can learn. We can all get something out of this. We learn. George and I are lucky enough, and Nick are lucky enough to fish with some of the greatest in the world on a regular basis, and it's really great to pass that information on. To learn it, apply it, and pass it on. So,
well, that was one of the things that you said about, everybody on this chat, whether it's Facebook or YouTube.
Yeah.
Talk to each other, because the more you can network with other people that like to do what you do, the more you're going to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And the more bonds you're going to create throughout the years to fish together or something like that.
It's funny how fishing brings people together.
Absolutely.
I fished tournaments for a long time. And I remember making a divisional team years and years ago out I wasn't sure about, I didn't know anybody on the team. A lot of them were from Western Pennsylvania. I didn't know any of the guys. And we go out there and I room with a guy, and we just, you build those friendships. And to this day, whenever he comes through town here, he stops in, or he calls me, or he texts me here and there, and that's been 15, 16 years ago, that friendship was built, but I remember meeting people through tournaments, and we just become friends. And there's just so many great things that happen while you're fishing, and the fishing community, and how friendly everybody is, and how it's great to be on a boat with somebody you never fished with before. And at the end of the day, man, you're like blood brothers,
Bond,
it's crazy bond that you get. So it's really cool to see that. And to have those friendships that we built over the years, and run into these people over and over again throughout the years. And it's like you never missed a beat. You might not see them for 2-3 years, and then you bump into them, and it's like, oh man, how you doing? You remember that time? And it's like, yeah, you just right back at it. So it's really neat. That's what the fishing community really is. That's what fishing to me is the friendships and the bonds and the time on the water with friends, and really learning from each other. And so I hope you guys get something out of this. I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy the stuff the content that we bring. I know it's kind of rough around the edges, but it's fun. And we have a great time doing it. So thank you so much for stopping in with that.
Hey guys, I have a question for you. Hot and heavy. I'm coming back from a week off that I'm not proud of, but you brought up wind, Mike.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad George is here too, because one of the things on Pre-Tackle Shop Live that guys were talking about is trying to avoid the wind.
Yeah.
Do you guys believe in trying to avoid the wind, or do you accept the wind as your friend?
It's funny, because I had a conversation with a guy about it yesterday, and he was like, man, this wind's driving me nuts, and it's this and that. We had to cancel a tournament last week, because the body of water we were going on and the tournament field, it was such a diverse tournament field that there was boats on there that would have been questionable to be on that water. However, George and I, we had no problem fishing that tournament. It was 25-mile-an-hour winds, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. We're used to that kind of stuff. We've done it many times over, and we have the boat to handle that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's it can be very frustrating, but if you let the wind and work with the wind and use the wind to your advantage, you do build confidence in that. And over the years, we have built a lot of confidence in fishing heavy winds and caught a lot of fish in heavy winds, especially our smallmouth fishery the way that they love the wind. They absolutely eat it up, man. They feed like crazy. They go nuts, they're it just seems like they get more aggressive in that heavy wind. It's just hard to work in it, to work in that element. That element can make you frustrated very quickly. Boat control, number one. Your line and your casting and all that kind of stuff. So there's things that you can do to make it easier for you, but if you can get that out of your mind and you can just fish and understand what the wind is doing and fish those strengths of that wind, boy, oh boy, you can have a really good time. But it can be scary. It can be scary in some waters. Right?
I mean, yeah. It's a matter of, the direction, the type of water you're on. The biggest problem with wind is if you're on a body of water that has current. Because even if the wind is going with the current, when it starts getting up into that 25 knot range, it's going to be ugly. If it's going against the current, I mean, it doesn't even have to get close to that. A 15 knot wind is so, it's the same old adage. It's the same old prepare. Almost every single person that you'll ever run into that has a story that starts out like, I fished here 100 times before and I never seen anything like this. I barely made it back. I broke my trolling motor off my boat. I cracked my windshield. I lost my cowling on my outboard. And you also didn't look at the forecast.
Yeah.
So it's there's some levels of wind you just want to stay away from, but if it's reasonable, and you're fairly competent with your equipment, first of all, I look around and I say, okay, this wind is doing what for me from a fishing perspective? So it's first of all, it's generating a current. So if you're on a body of water with very little current, the wind is generating a current. The wind is setting up very predictable locations to target fish with active, moving, power, aggressive baits. You can forget about the finesse, the spinner bait, the crank bait, the chatter bait, that type of stuff, the swim bait. So that's all good. Now, you may have to avoid a lot of areas because it's just too much wind. But think about squeeze points, like an island next to the shoreline. That squeezing, that acceleration of the water from the wind. Think about a quick shallowing, like a point. Let's say the wind's running this way and the points are running off the bank like this. That water's going to accelerate over top of that point because it's being squeezed. It might be coming out of 30 feet and it might be 8 on top.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have a push on the front. You're going to have a very traditional eddy on the back. You have to visualize these because it's not something you can per se read. It's very hard to read those seams when the surface is disturbed. But just think about it.
Yeah.
Think about that, and it predicts location for you, and it enhances your fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're using the wind to your advantage is what George is saying.
Yeah.
He's saying, think about the wind, think about what it's doing, and use that wind to your advantage, and you'll see. I'm telling you, some of these times, man, and wind is great.
But George, you mentioned 2 words that were interesting to me right there: a push and an eddy.
Yeah.
Which one's more productive and when? Does it vary?
Yeah, it does. Typically, the push, which is the area that the current is slamming into. So if you have current running into an object, like a bridge pier, current running in, you can see the bridge pier. You can obviously predict where the front of the bridge pier is. So that current's running in here. That water stacks up pressure-wise against that bridge pier, and it pushes and creates a soft zone right in here. So right in front of that bridge pier is an eddy. In front where the current's coming in, there's an eddy there. That's called the push. Typically, your like dominant, most aggressive, biggest fish will be there. Could be, in a schooling time of the year like fall, there could be a couple of big fish stacked up in there. So you want to investigate those pushes. You want to work on your casting angles. I don't like to cast into the push and retrieve back this way. I like to either come across it, or I like, if I'm jerkbait fishing and I'm spot locked here, I like to cast a quarter down and work my jerkbait so that as I get on the swing of my line, on the swing of my cast, I'm coming in front of that push. That's a very effective, high percentage, big fish cast. Come across it, now come below it, and come up and come into it. Now, that if it is a bridge pier, or if you cut the bridge off, it could be a rock underwater doing the same thing. Or it could be a point coming out, and that point, in essence, acts like a ledge, or it could be a ledge. That push will be all along there. And at the end of that point will be a key spot. Any break in that ledge will be a key spot because that water is going to accelerate through there. So now you're investigating that whole face. And that is where we always talk about boat control. And it's not for everybody. There's a lot of people out there that are just hopelessly spinning randomly in the world in their boat. They have the trolling motor. They told their wife that I have to have this 112-pound thrust, Ultrex Quest. Have to have a Quest. But they're just pinwheeling hopelessly. No, don't be that guy. Okay. Again, how do we use the wind? Well, we come above it, okay, and we back drift. So if you're not familiar with river fishing, in river fishing, if we want to fish here, we start up here, and we back down into it, letting the current take us and using our troll motor to adjust that. Well, if you're on a reservoir or a lake and you have a wind current, same thing. Current is current. So now think about that. Okay, I want to fish the face of this ledge. I want to fish the push on this point. And I want to be able to do that quartering cast, and I want that precision. Okay, well, you're going to come down in until you get to that position, and then you're going to spot lock. Most people have a spot lock. If you don't, you can anchor. Okay? And if you are an anchor guy, then you know what I'm talking about, where you're going to deploy that anchor. But if you are an anchor guy, that's how you anchor now, spot lock. But anyways, now you can pick that apart. Now, if it is a point you want to work across the face of it or a ledge, just crab walk your boat. Spot lock. If it's a shallow fishery, like we're watching, enjoying the Bass Nation Championship on the Mississippi River out of La Crosse, which is, kind of a bucket list spot for us that we haven't gone to yet for whatever reason. But that is like tailor-made for this stuff, right? So a lot of that's shallow.
Yeah.
So you can come down bow first and power pole. So however you choose to do it, spot lock, power pole's stealthier, spot lock is easier. Depending on the amount of current and wind, you can't power pole down facing into that because the wind will win. It will pivot your boat. Okay, so if you're going to power pole, you're going to come back, you're going to spin your boat, and drop your power poles. And then you can confidently pick that target apart. So that's the push. Now the eddy.
Yeah, the eddy is,
that's on the backside.
well, yeah, it's created by the same thing. So you got the top of the water coming up, got the push here. It comes over top the shallow water, and it's swinging around the ends of the points, and it's making a back current. It's making a back current. So that's your eddy pocket. That's the backside of the structure that you're fishing. And really easy to see in the river, shallow rivers, really easy to see it because it's like a calm little spot or whatever, or it's a lot slower. And there's a time and a place for the fish to get into those. Early in the spring, we like those. Later on in the winter, we look for those calmer eddy pockets to fish when the water's cooler.
They're not that apparent in a 25-mile-an-hour window.
They're not, but if it's the same exact concept, the push really isn't that apparent either in that. So you just got to visualize what you're fishing. So the water is coming in this direction. The front's your push, the back's your eddy. So that's where you're going to see that eddy pockets is on the backside. And there is a time and a place for that. Those fish, the bait fish will go in there, especially if it's a really windy day, they'll try to work in behind that stuff, and that might be the sweet spot for the day. So it's good to check both of those types of waters out. So
yeah, that's what that wind's doing for us. It's pushing the bait.
Yep, put the bait where it needs to be.
It's pushing the bait, and these fish know that, and they're taking the prime locations. And your presentations in that situation are the same as if it was calm and it was current. It's either going to be a wind-driven current or a natural current or a current that's created by a generation at a dam. But those are all power fishing situations.
Mm-hmm.
And your playbook, your tackle box is big at that point, you know. And, it's fall.
Mm-hmm.
As we're seeing up here at the Nation Championship, these cold nights turned them on.
Oh, yeah.
Big time.
Yep.
And,
and I guarantee you they're fishing pushes and eddy pockets up there.
They're fishing. They're
guaranteed.
They're on the river fishing wing dams.
Yeah.
They're fishing bridge pilings.
Absolutely.
They're fishing, a point, a log, a rock.
They are definitely fishing current breaks and current pushes up there big time.
And I'm sure that some power fishing techniques are coming into play. But it's probably when you put 200 boats on a body of water, there's probably a requirement for some slowdown too.
Well, yeah. And not only that, they had a major cold front come in, so you have to kind of adapt to that. But, where you would jerk a jerk bait a lot quicker, possibly this time they're dead sticking, jerking the jerk bait a lot slower, working it, dead sticking it a little bit more, slow rolling the swim baits, for those smallies and stuff. Those fish are pulling out of that grassy areas and going towards the wintering spots. And if you can find where they're heading to and get in on a ledge or get in on a wing dam or a current break, a good push current situation for those big smallies, man, I'm telling you, can absolutely train wreck them. So anyway, use the wind to your advantage. Be safe. Don't go out there if it's crazy. Know which direction the wind's coming from so you know the areas to stay away from. If it's blowing out of the north, it's going to stack it up on the north end of the lake. It's going to stack those big waves up on the north end of the lake. If it's blowing out of the south, it's
all the way around.
I'm sorry. Out of the south, it's going to stack it. Out of the north, south, it's going to stack it in the north end of the water. It's going to get worse and worse towards the north. And on a north wind, the further south you go, the worse it's going to get. So you can fish the bottom of the lake or the top of the lake. East and west, the same thing. If it's blowing towards the west, stay off the west shore. If it's blowing towards the east, stay off the east shore. Learn that. Or the opposite.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
Yeah. Well, some people don't understand that.
The compass.
Huh?
I'm just busting your balls.
Yeah, some people don't understand that. I see guys run, with a big heavy wind, they'll run the windy side of the lake. And they are like, oh my God, that's the worst I've ever seen it. Well, yeah, you knucklehead, you should have ran down the other side of the lake. It's kind of common sense, but it's not. If you don't understand it, you got to understand where the wind is and where it's coming from. And you got to know the lay of the land and the lay of the lake. And if you got those all that in your mind, then you can really run really safely and be effective and out there. And that's what we wanted to get across. But
What about you, cameraman Nick? What's your feeling on high intensity winds?
Well, high intensity, it depends what lake you're on. Because I mean, I've been to high intensity at Champlain. That gets rough. On Ontario, that gets rough. But I think in every scenario, whether you've hit the nail on the head, whether you're using your trolling motor, if you have the higher tech trolling motors, if you don't, drift socks can be real helpful.
Yeah.
And, but I really believe that the wind can fire fish up.
Oh, like nobody's business.
And if you are an aggressive fisherman that likes to power fish, jerk baits, spinner baits, you name it, you need some wind. Now, I'm not saying you need 40-mile-an-hour winds, but you need some wind.
Yeah, Nick. Now, listen, you drive all the way up to Champlain, and it's blowing for 4 days.
Yeah.
You're not going to sit on the bank for 4 days.
Oh, no.
You're going to figure out which way that wind's blowing. You're going to find a ramp close to where it's not going to be as bad and safer. George and I did it. We were up there, and it looked like honestly, it looked like the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we were like, man, what are we going to do? And we start looking at the map, and we're like, oh man, here's a ramp right here, and it's on the leeward side, and we could just fish right around the corners, and we could fish this whole side over here. And yeah, it was still bouncy, but it was nothing like right out there.
And what you just said is key. If you have the ability to do that,
yeah,
by all means. But you guys well know,
you'll
go pre-fishing for a tournament, and you have the most beautiful days you ever did see.
Yeah.
And then day of the tournament, it's the windiest day on earth. It's new records. And you're going out of Plattsburgh, and you're like, no matter where I go, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
But again, if you have been paying attention to the forecast,
right?
If you haven't, then we can't help you. But if you've been paying attention to the forecast, like the gentleman that's leading this tournament, he said during practice it was tough. He said, "I saw this cold coming in, right? And I knew where they were going, so I started checking out the areas that I knew they were going to." Same thing with the wind. If you're fishing, pre-fishing for a tournament, or fishing with your buddies for a few days on a big place like Champaign, and you've been knocking the hell out of them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here, and you're like, well, we got to go back there on Thursday. You might want to be watching that weather, because you might not do that successfully.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I mean, there's things you can do in the wind. Hopefully we helped you out with that. Knowledge is power, when it comes to wind.
Well, the worst thing you can do is just throw in the towel.
Yeah.
I mean, now don't get me wrong. If it's too much, they call the tournament. You can't help that.
Right.
But if they're going to have the tournament, or you are there to fish for fun, like you said, either find ramps you can go out of.
Yeah.
Or if you're in a tournament,
realize
that use it to your advantage.
Exactly.
That's all I would.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And you can do that, and you can do it safely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, we started this thing a while ago. And now we have a phenomenal sponsor for our rig of the week. Nomad Designs rig of the week is something that we started a few weeks ago. And the way it works is, what we want to do is we want you guys to listen about these rigs, learn about these rigs. And then we'd like you to like and share and comment on your platform on Facebook or YouTube, whatever your platform you're on. Like, share, and comment, and that'll put you in for the Nomad Design SFT $25 gift card that we give away every week. We pick out somebody, and you get a $25 gift card to sfttackle.com, or in here in the shop. You can come in here and spend it here in the shop. So it's a great thing. Nomad Designs is sponsoring that. They've been a partner with us now for several years, and they are the makers of the Live Ops plastic baits that they came out with this year. And they also have the Greg De Palma jig that is smoking off the racks and is a phenomenal jig. It's a fish catching jig. So you have that you can that they make, and they also have a great line of crankbaits, all different types of crankbaits. And so we give away a $25 gift card every week for the Rig of the Week section. And this week's winner from last week, who got on there and liked and shared and did all that, is nobody's business like this business. Randall Miller Jr. is the winner of the $25 gift card for this week's Nomad Designs Rig of the Week. Yeah, baby.
Good job, Randall.
Way to go, Randall. Perfect. Love it. Congratulations, buddy. We'll get a hold of you either by messenger or some way, and we will get that gift card to you. Last week's winner got a hold of me just recently, so I went in the works with him, and we're working it out with him. And then Randall, give us a call. We'll fix you right up.
And
Joe,
Mike,
yeah.
one more shot here.
Yeah.
So everybody that's listening, whether it's podcast, YouTube, or Facebook, like the video, share the video, and then comment in the video tagging. So use the @ and then Nomad Designs. You have to tag them to your comment.
Yes.
That's all you have to do.
Yes.
Yep.
Here he is, Randall Miller. Yeah, baby. He's all jacked up with the win. You deserve it, buddy. You're here all the time watching. We're so glad that you won that. And see, anybody can win. It's for everybody. So get on there, do your due diligence, hashtag Nomad Designs, and you'll see what it's all about. All right, George. Speaking of Rig of the Week, what is it? I'm excited myself.
Well, we've been talking a lot about finesse fishing and, wacky rigging, Nico rigging, the difference between the two, different ways of doing it. We talked about the crossover band, and putting that on the wacky worm and then putting your hook either under the band for wacky or through the keeper for Nico. So, and that's great, right?
Yeah.
Put the nail weight in the end.
Yeah.
Now you're pulling from the middle, nail weight. That's great stuff.
Very effective, which we've said over and over and over.
Undeniably effective.
Yeah.
One of the if you're not Nico rigging,
you're missing out.
You've screwed up.
Yeah.
But and I always use a weedless hook for that, by the way. I'm a straight shank guy. So I always use a straight shank, weedless. Of course, we gotta call him a Nico rig or Nico hook now. We got the names.
We always do have the names.
So I always do this. That's my favorite. And a lot of people will do the little short shank, like the little owner, weedless wacky hook, killer hook like that. Great hook. And then depending on your brand, terrible lighting tonight, boys. Depending on your brand, pick your favorite hook brand. They make a hook. But if you try to get into the thick timber, the brush piles, some of that thicker grass, you're constantly, that's folding down that weed guard, you're getting snagged. It's too much. So this week's Rig of the Week solves that. It lets you have your cake and eat it too. And they call it the chicken rig. So let's demonstrate. Now, the type of hook that you use is entirely up to you. If you are a wide gap fan, EWG, sorry for the shadows. Not sure how to alleviate that. EWG. If you know what they are, I hope, because we can't really get.
It's a perfect picture, George.
It's so shadowy.
We can see it.
Can't really see it that well.
Everybody's like tuning in on that. Look at that. That's beautiful.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
That's a J hook. This is a round bend. Okay, offset shank. Whatever you like. I'm an EWG guy. I'm going to use the EWG. And so, we want our hook to be like right here. Zone. You can be down a little bit. You can be up a little bit, but basically right in there. Because you're going to put your nail weight up here. Okay? So you might come down a little bit. Pick your spot. Bring your hook in. Take your time. Make sure it's centered. Come in just like you were doing a regular Texas rig. Bring your hook out. Come in, turn it.
Stop everyone. Show that picture right there. It's hard to visualize that. Now you're going to turn it.
It's a Texas rig.
Yeah. But just show each step.
Got to get it up on that shoulder. Now, you see how that eye's sticking out there?
Yeah. Turn that a little bit. There you go.
I don't like that. So I'm straightening it up. And then you see where that hook and that worm are hanging? Right there? That's where I'm going to come through. Out the back. Stretch that up a little bit. Tuck that point. Like that.
That's the craziest thing in the world, Nick.
And then I'm going to take my tungsten, lead. I don't care.
A nail weight.
And a lot of people come in like this, and that's great. You can also come in like this. Kind of get it measured up a little bit there. Come in here. You can come in that way. You can bring that out a little bit at the top, just a little bit to scratch on the bottom.
What in the hell is that, Nick? What's that called, George?
Chicken rig.
Chicken rig. You ever fish anything like that, Nick?
I haven't, but I thought maybe you would be the guy that did.
I got a hard enough time getting past the Texas rig. That is crazy. That's awesome, actually.
It's a Nico rig.
Yeah, weedless.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to go into the jungle, okay, now let's take that apart.
I like it.
And let's look at a round bend sprout style hook or offset hook. Round bend means the bend is kind of like a U.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This one's bent. Somebody bent my hook. That's all right. So if you like this kind of hook, again, kind of just take a second of your life, kind of eyeball it up. You want to be back here? You want to be right here? I like to be right there. That's where I like to be. Come in like that. Now like that. Turn. Sink. Now this one here, we're not going to text pose, right? Because that's how these hooks are fished. These hooks are fished Texas style. So we kind of see where we want to come in. And we just want it nice and straight.
Where's the line come in at?
Well, you tie on first.
Oh,
You're
okay.
kind of pulling the line in there.
Oh, okay.
Yep. The line's it's not going to be quite this clean because the line's going to be kind of like coming out of there.
Yeah.
Looks a lot better with the line off.
I'm glad you brought that up, George, because like you said, the Nico rig is deadly, and we all know that. But in the timber, in the thick stuff, you're going to get snagged a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So you're pulling from here. This is your pull point. So you're pulling the worm like this. And this tail obviously is going to be up here in the water, flapping and waving. Now, what do you use? Well, Nico type worm, a 7-inch trick worm. This is a Nico Rama worm from Big Bite. I'll tell you, the most famous of all is a Senko.
Oh. Yeah.
A Senko.
Big creature bait would be pretty good with that too, maybe.
A craw.
Yeah.
The cool thing about a craw is when you rig a craw and you tension up on it, you wave those claws up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
But the purpose of the chicken rig is to allow you a little more confidence in the nasty brush, thick nastiness, right?
Oh, well, that's a problem for all of us.
Yeah.
Getting hung up all the time.
So that's gonna be your answer there.
So that's the chicken rig.
Yeah.
Is what they call that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they chicken rig anything, but typically it's going to be it's going to be a straight a long worm.
Yeah.
It's going to be a Senko. That's probably
I got
most of your.
I got a couple.
You know what I mean?
I got a couple brush piles. I think that would be like fantastic in, man. They're getting hung up in with a shaky head all the time. Even a Texas rig hangs up in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's designed for that. So that's the rig of the week. It's called the chicken rig.
Wow.
And
well, there you have it.
It's a great little rig, especially, if you're heavily involved in Nico rigging and you get, you're a Nico rigger, you get into those situations. That's nice to have that.
Yeah. Absolutely unbelievable rig. Rig of the week brought to you by Nomad Designs. Weekly rig of the week that we're going to bring to you. Make sure you like, share, comment, and hashtag Nomad Designs.
No.
Huh?
Like,
Yeah.
share, and comment.
Yeah.
By tagging them on there at Nomad Designs.
Oh, at?
Yeah, we want to tag them on.
Oh, at.
Yeah, at the at sign.
I'm gonna make a sign up next week and hang it.
Yep.
I'm gonna bust out a sign because it's a lot.
It is a lot.
So the at
symbol. So if you go at, it automatically, like, let's say
lets them know
at, and then you put N, it's automatically going to bring up people. And then you just type in Nomad, and then it'll come up. You just
click on that,
and then you're good to go.
Yeah, because we want to let them know.
Yeah, every time you tag them, they know they're being shared.
Yeah, we want to let them know because we want the $25 to keep going.
That's right.
We want to keep giving that $25 away.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Now,
So,
George, I got a question.
Very important.
For you. This Nico rigging, and now you just showed us the chicken rig, which Mike and I we got to try this one. But what's your favorite rod for the Nico rig or the chicken rig? For those that are wondering.
I mean, it depends. So, with the chicken rig, if I'm fishing heavier cover, which is why I would chicken rig, let's say holes in grass beds and pads and wood and brush piles and stuff that's just heavier cover.
Gnarly.
I'm going to fish 15-pound fluorocarbon on a 7-something medium heavy casting rod. Because if I was fishing a more finessey type cover, I'd fish a Nico rig. That's proven. That's what I mean. The only reason I would ever chicken rig is because the cover got more, crazy. For me.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a bait caster, worming type rod. Same rod I would use to fish a Senko on. Yeah.
Do you fish a Nico rig on a spinning rod?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, because of the cover.
Right.
Yeah, I usually when I fish my Nico rig, I'm usually using a 12-pound test leader onto 15-pound braid, fluorocarbon leader on a 7-1 medium to medium heavy spinning rod is my Nico setup. Same thing I would fish like a lot of my finesse stuff on. But I up that leader, to fish around, some level of cover. But if you're like, man, I'm not throwing my Nico rig in there, great.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken rig it and throw it in there. You have to be on that kind of a bite. You have to be on a bite where, if you're fishing a grass bed, and it's a tough bite, like my whole entire September has been.
Yeah.
I've caught like 5 keepers in tournaments in September. So every and August. So every tournament I've been in has been tough. And you can either just keep doing what you're doing and hope for the best, or try to make some adjustments, which also didn't work out, but at least I tried. And, when I got into the thicker grass, like real thicker grass with holes in it, it was like milfoil, and even had like wood, like laydowns mixed in with it, and also just laydowns. That's when that chicken rig gets picked up. But if it was the edge of that grass bed and it was more open water, then I'm going to Nico rig, right? So that's like how I'm going to. The first time I ever saw it explained was by Mike Iaconelli, and that was a long time ago. He's ahead of the curve on all this stuff. And I back then I was really a real basic finesse fisherman. I knew how to drop shot. I knew how to wacky rig. I fished a tube and I fished a TRD. What I didn't do is any of that a lot. And what I didn't do was Nico rig. So I was intrigued by Nico rigging, and which is essentially putting a nail weight in a wacky rig, but tweaking it, getting it right. And I'm a big believer, and I love terminal tackle. I love dialing in my setups for me. The way I like to fish them, because it's on my rod.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to the Nico rig by a sales rep for a bait company that was in here visiting us. I don't even remember the bait company, but he introduced me to Nico rig and a crawl. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, a light switch clicked, and I could see how that pull point, activated that. And so when Ike introduced a chicken rig, yeah, essentially it's a heavier cover Nico rig.
Yeah.
With just another name. So
yeah, cool.
We're going to do a rig of the week every week.
Yeah.
There better be a lot of freaking rigs out there.
Well, there's a ton of rigs, and that's
right now. I'm like, I'm good for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have to do some thought.
Well, what's really cool is there is a lot of rigs out there, but there's also a lot of rigs that you can manipulate too. So we got all that to do too. On some of that stuff. So, but man, what a great rig. What a great rig of the week. And we'll keep them coming for you every week. George, we're a tackle shop. We love tackle. Every day we get tackle in the shop. It's like Christmas in here. We love playing with tackle. And this is my favorite segment. And we call this Tackle Talk. Yeah, baby. We love Tackle Talk, George.
Huddle up, boys.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Huddle up.
I'm going to run a couple plays past you for this week's Tackle Talk. I need a lot more of this and a lot less of this. Okay. So what I mean by that is we're gonna spin off of some of these things.
Mhm.
We're gonna be spinning.
Yeah.
Okay. So
actually, we need a lot more of this and a lot less of this.
now I'm coaching this segment here. See right there, there's one guy
Uh-huh.
that's gonna screw up the
Well,
play.
if we're spinning, we're going this
No,
way.
no.
If we're focused, we're going this way.
No, we're going right through the line, and the quarterback's getting hurt. Okay,
Okay.
that way. All right, good. Now that I have your full attention, this is the year of the fuzzy bait is 2025/2026,
Wow.
and we're participating fully. We started with G-Crack with the Q bomb, and now we have a couple different sizes of that, bunch of colors of that. That's been a great success. That was kind of way ahead of the curve.
Well, not only that, but the fuzzy baits are growing. As far as learning a lot more about the fuzzy baits themselves.
Yeah,
And people are starting to really understand them and starting to do some stuff with them. So it's really starting to take off.
It's in the U.S.
Yeah.
This has been, this is like drop shot / wacky rig / Nico rig.
Yeah.
This is all, the flow is from, Japan to the U.S.
Yeah,
on these
exactly.
things. And
Exactly.
This is no.
So there's a lot of learning going on for a lot of people right now with it.
Well, yeah.
And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's new.
Yeah. We're kind of confused about it. We don't really know what to do with it. We're trying to come up with a way we like to fish it. And
Well, there's not a way. There's multiple ways.
yeah, there is. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. What way
There's
we like
multiple
to.
ways. And, so we've been fishing them for, a couple years now with G-Crack, and not really committing to it. Just kind of like learning it, but not really drinking the Kool-Aid. Well, we started drinking the Kool-Aid
Oh yeah.
because we're a little late to the party on the effectiveness of it. So, that being said, then we have the tumbleweed, the Strike King. Of course, they throw their powers at it. We have the Yamamoto coming in multiple tiers, but we just received a bunch of the Z-Man. And they've taken fuzzy to a new level. So obviously we're going to start off showing you the fuzzy nugget. And this is your typical dice bait. This actually has like a bunch of like sides on it. This is like a dodecaphonic. So Elastec, extremely durable, right? Which is good because, the way we're going to hook these, we're going to do a couple different things. The traditional way to fish them is to use a wacky style hook, and it can be, your either one of the ones we showed you. It can be a straight shank, it can be this, and come in through the corner, right? So you come in through the corner and you just hook it like that. And that is not going to work real good because this stuff floats. So your next step is going to be to add some weight to this. So put a spike in here. What's nice about that is once you put a spike in here, it ain't coming out. And what makes it real easy is a rattle sneaker, and a small little tungsten weight that they make. And once that bad boy's put together, you just put your little snaker in there. Boom. Drop your rattle or your
weight,
tungsten weight in there. That's done. That's good to go till you lose this. You're going to catch a pile of fish on this. However, I would like to propose to you some alternate stuff here. And I would like to remind you of something we used to use a lot, which is a wacky jig head. This is an owner ultra head. Now you have your choice of weight, and you're going to hook it the same exact way, right? And now your guy's going to fall like this, and you're going to control that by the weight of that jig head. Good to go. So that's two methods. The third method that's been really effective with these fuzzy baits is drop shotting them. And you're going to hook them the same way you did with that first hook and just drop shot them. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you got the fuzzy nugget, and that's the traditional. Then you got the fuzzy bug. So the fuzzy bug is pretty cool for the reason that it has like that little kind of dumbbell shape with the little bit of a stinger on the end there. But how about this idea? How about taking your weighted wacky jig head and hooking that bad boy through the middle and getting that rocking action on the way down as that jig head rocks back and forth and being able to work it across the bottom like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's one way. Put it on a TRD head. That's another way. Drop shot it. Nose hook it, wacky rig it on a drop shot. That's another way. Very, very versatile fuzzy bait, the fuzzy bug. And then, of course, the one that I'm pretty excited about is the fuzzy TRD. And we're simply going to take and fish our TRD the way we fish our TRD, but now we have a fuzzy TRD.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
I am all about this setup right here. Stand by. Always take your time when you're rigging a Laztec so that it's nice and straight and perfect every time. I mean, come on. Come on. Huh? So we got fuzzy TRD. Check out some of the colors. I showed you the electric shad. That's the electric shad. I showed you the green pumpkin goby. That has the purple and the copper and the green fleck. I showed you the yoga pants. That's like an almost black, dark smoke. What else we got here? Check this out. Well, goes without saying. Green pumpkin. Showed you the yoga pants. Showed you that. Showed you that. How about a bubble gum?
Beautiful.
How about glimmer blue? So these are multi-species baits geared towards the bass market, but obviously going to work in a lot of different fisheries. These are versatile as hell.
Yeah, I've paid attention to it in some of the tournaments we were watching on TV, and I noticed that a lot of guys were drop shotting them. They were drop shotting these fuzzy baits a lot.
Well, what I found out on my own fishing with them is that if you're fishing deeper than about 5 or 6 feet with a nail weight, that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put a nail weight in one of those things on a spinning rod, the dice, that's about a 5-6 foot deal. I have not used a wacky jig head yet, but that's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can just go to a heavier jig head and fish it wherever I want it. So I'm thinking that's going to be money. But yeah, the drop shot is real good.
Is the skirt material Elastec? As a question here on here, is that Elastec too, or is that just skirt material?
That's skirt material.
Skirt
silicone.
Material. Yeah, that's not molded in there. It's just kind of punched through.
I don't know if it's punched through or if it's molded in.
Brain fart.
I know one thing.
The guy who was fishing that, sponsored by them, comes here all the time.
Great buck.
Yeah, great buck. Great buck. When he was talking about, he had a good finish, and I think it was the first EQ. He was he said that the fish that were really tricky to catch, he would put the fuzzy bug on a drop shot and put it through there, and they would hit it every single time. While he was forward facing.
Yeah.
And he was just amazed on how that bait just triggered those fish into biting them.
Yeah.
I have another guy that we talked to who was fishing them on a jig, like you did, a wacky jig, and
the dice.
It was a dice style bait.
I thought I invented that.
No, it was a guy fishing on it. Well, I don't know if it wasn't a wacky rig jig. It was some kind of jig that he might have even been a Ned rig.
Okay.
Jig head, because he was fishing some current and had a really good day doing that. So there's lots of different ways and there's lots of different scenarios, but I'm excited to see how it's going to play out for the rest of this year, because I think there's going to be a lot of situations the rest of this year that it might really pan out, really get good, especially in those real cold months that the Nico or the TRD style. Kind of excited about doing that. You cut, and even this gentleman on here said about cutting it down a little bit, making it a little shorter.
Well, I know some of the areas I fish in the winter, in some of the tidal waters that I fish, where we fish a drop shot.
Yeah.
I'm already formulating plans there. But I had a question on here about the bright colors, the pinks and the blue glimmers. Why? Well, bubblegum is an interesting color. So in the springtime, bubblegum on spawning largemouth can be deadly. All phases of the spawn. Hence, bubblegum trickworm. Fished weightless. Where your twitch, fall, twitch, fall. So that's one application. Another application for bubblegum is on smallmouth. Smallmouth and bubblegum, that's a thing. Mm-hmm. So you have to experiment with that. But
spawning fish.
Really good on spawning fish.
Yeah.
I mean, they love bubblegum.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big player for that.
And then the blue glimmer, that's just a bait fish color. That's a shad color.
Yeah.
That's if you like to bed fish with white, if you're around a bunch of shad, where you're using white baits, that's just a shad color extraordinaire. So, it's they're alternate colors. They're certainly not the most reached for colors, but if you look at the TRD, for example, from Z-Man, since these are Z-Man products, you know, there's a white,
Mm-hmm.
well, a play on white, and it's called White Lightning. It's got a little bit of silver flake in it,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's a bubble gum,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a bubble gut.
Yeah.
And those colors all play at different, you know, situations. I've seen them play in dirty water. I've seen them play in clear water.
Yeah.
I've had it. I've experienced it with smallmouth on a TRD head. And then of course the bubble gum in the spring for largemouth is pretty good. We always talk about merthiolate. We're big on merthiolate. They don't make a merthiolate. And we use a lot of white trick worms. So that's kind of a thing if you get into a unique situation, or if you want to, if you're stymied on a bite. It's nice to have a little bubble gum in your bag. Jim Saban's talking about a bubblegum fluke. Bubblegum fluke ain't no joke.
Jim,
You know?
you're banned from the show, but you can't bring that out and say that kind of stuff on this show.
That is no joke.
That is just something you can't say that on this show. This is a show for the family.
Now, guys, I need to talk about the price. Okay. So these are 4-count packs for $9.99. And, you know, that may sound a little steep to you, but it's really not when you look at the other fuzzy baits. It's actually right on point or even a little under. But keep in mind, this is
Elastec.
Elastec.
Doesn't tear all up.
This stuff is going to last for a long, long time.
Yeah, especially the wacky rig style stuff, you know, where,
yeah,
you know.
So that we're excited about. It's the Z-Man Fuzzy family has landed. Check them out. Check out the Rattle Sneaker. Check out the Tungsten Spikes so that you can pimp your ride out.
Pimp that ride.
And yeah, I'm excited for it. So that's new here at the shop. And guys, you know, we are some swim bait loving fools in here. I mean, we love swim baits, everything from that size to that size. We talked about bootfoot swim baits last week and had a great discussion on that. Well, there's more.
Lord have mercy.
And I want to show you and explain to you a little bit about the Z-Man. Yes, we're still on Z-Man. The swag. So let's start here. So first of all, I want to go on record as saying there was a Mullitron, then there was a Shadtron. And we showed a lot of enthusiasm for those. And
here we go.
This is challenging.
This is challenging. Here we go.
We showed a lot of enthusiasm for those, and we fished them a lot. The Mullitron definitely has become a standard in the redfish game, shallow water redfish game. It has not dominated in the bass fishing world. The Shadtron, especially with the fact that they have the rate of fall 12, has been a bit of a player. We do have one member of the SFT pro staff, Dave Schindler, who has had really good success with the Shadtron. And we've all fished it ourselves. This is next level. This, so far, everyone on our pro staff, Z-Man pro staff and SFT pro staff, Corbin Gottwald, Jerry Surzan, these guys are chirping. And these are guys don't chirp. They've been texting me, sending me videos, pictures. So let's break this bait down. First of all, swag rhymes with mag.
It does.
So let's see what we got here. So we have this is the 5-inch. And this is a rate of fall 9. Whatever. So I can tell you from the Shadtron, which came in a rate of fall 5 and a rate of fall 12, the rate of fall 5 is only for shallow water. The rate of fall 12, you want to be in 3, 4, 5 feet of water. This is a rate of fall 9. Jerry told me that he's been fishing the 6-inch in 15 feet of water very effectively. He just counts it down. So that's what that rate of fall nonsense is all about. There's only one. They can put whatever they want on the pack. There's a rate of fall 9. This is a Laztec. So you're going to catch a pile of fish on it. I don't know if you can hear it. I can't. Supposedly there's a rattle in here. I can feel it. I can see it. I see a nail weight. I can see where you could put a rattle in. Don't buy the rattle. I mean, if you want to put a rattle in, buy a rattle, but don't buy the fact that it has a rattle in it. Because if it does, it's one of them silent rattles.
It's stuck.
So this is a line through bait, okay? So we're going to bring the line through the nose, and we're going to come out the top. If we want a top hook, our 5-inch uses a 3-inch, a 3/0 sickle. Our 6-inch uses a 5/0 sickle. Extra Z-Man hooks are available. See, they have a straight, flat eye. Okay? And then you'll tie that hook on and pull it back into its holder. Now you can crawl this thing on the bottom, swim it along, crawl it on the bottom. Jerry tells me he's fishing exclusively top hook. And he's loving it.
Yeah, he's fishing rock piles and stuff like that. So
now Corbin is fishing exclusively bottom hook. And you'll notice this is a double. So this is essentially a treble with just enough here to hold it in place. And it has a keeper clip in the bottom, which was on the other baits as well. So now we come out the bottom with our line here, out here, tie on, cinch this back up in here, and snap it down into the clip. And that clip is pretty good tension. It pretty much comes out of there not too bad.
It seems to wear in a little bit. When I first originally took it out of the pack, I was shocked at how tight it was. But once we took it in and out 2 or 3 times, it got perfect.
And of course, you can manipulate it if you feel necessary.
Yeah, I think if you just work it in and out, Jordan, instead of trying to bend it, just work it in and out a couple times, it gets to the proper strength.
You're not going to do both. So that's the 5-inch. This is the 6-inch, obviously a little bigger. Got all kinds of colors. So we have the white back shad. It's a very swag-like color. We have the gizzard shad. We have the albino pearl. I didn't even get them all. There's more than I got. This one here is perch. It's called perch.
That's a cool color with the orange fins and stuff. One of the things you didn't touch on though, George, is the tail.
Yeah, I'm not done yet.
Oh. Excuse me.
We have thread fin shad. I like that gold line. That blue back. Very nice. And what do we have here? I think we already looked at this one. Yeah, gizzard shad. So I've seen a video that Corbin shot of this thing swimming. This is kind of like a hybrid boot foot. So the last two had that kind of wedge tail, and this is a play on that. So this has the flare, which is more flared. This section here is more pronounced on this tail.
It's thinner at the bottom of it than the other ones.
And then it's kind of got
It's cupped.
a little bit of a boot. But this bad boy swims great. I mean, this tail really kicks. You get body roll. You got durability. You know, you got a 5-inch size, which is nice on smaller bait fish. Yeah.
The thing about it is you got it, and the reason why I wanted to bring that up about the tail, and that we needed to hit on that is because it is so different than the Shadtron and the Mullitron. You know, it and those were they're good for whatever they do, but people really didn't fall in love with it for the bass market. This thing, they definitely changed what they needed to change to get the right. I call it the swag because of the way that tail makes it. It's like a, nice swag to it. It has a nice swagger to it through the water. It's a little bit of a roll body, but it got a nice kick on the tail, makes it swaggy. And it's a totally different tail design. So it's unlike, don't think Mullitron and Shadtron. Think this is different. This is a true style, swim bait.
So, in your opinion, guys, I know George, you like to throw the mag draft a lot.
Oh, I do.
Weight wise in your hand, does it feel similar? Or?
Well, the 5-inch is 3/4 of an ounce. Now, 5-inch mag drafts are very limited. Like we had one shot of them this year. Now, I will say this. That in approximately 1 month, there's going to be another shot of them. But we'll talk about that in approximately 1 month. But I like this because it's that size and it's 3/4 of an ounce. The other thing I like about mag drafts and swag LTs and whatever else is coming along is the ability to skip these things into nooks and crannies. That is an overlooked factor. And it's deadly. I mean, the freestyle mag draft on a properly rigged up with a wide gap belly weighted hook can be skipped into anything. And I mean, it's amazing how well it works. So the ability to skip these baits. The other thing I like about these with the Elastec is, again, I can go back to my rattle sneaker. Okay. I can inject in here any amount of weight I want. I mean, here's one that's 3/32. I mean, I can make these things sink to any depth I want to fish at any speed I want. So I can really trick these out. And because it's Elastec, it's going to stay there. The 6-inch, so the 5-inch is 3/4, the 6-inch is 1.25 ounces, and the price is $15.99. So I'm just saying. Now the glass rattle, total mystery. We may perform a autopsy
See if it's actually
at some
there.
point to see what's going on with the glass rattle. Not sure about the whole glass rattle thing. It could be that you can add a glass rattle. I don't know. Let's leave the glass rattle. Internal glass rattle. All right. That's pretty groovy. Yeah, so very excited. All about mag drafts, all about swag LTs.
Well, at least for our part of the country, George, it couldn't hit at a better time. This is
I mean the whole country's coming up on it.
I mean, this right for us right now to get them right now, this is perfect timing for us to go out and try them and have some great success on them, as you will, as everybody well knows how we feel about them this time of year. We fish them hard.
This is the best time,
and we feel like that you're gonna have some great success on all your swim baits, whether they're the soft swim baits or the glide baits. This is the time of season for it, so we're excited. It's glad to have them here now. Pretty cool stuff.
So one of the things that we see here in the shop a lot is, the incredible sustained interest in swim bait fishing, and with good, I mean, it should be. You're here. I'll testify. I mean, I am like all about it.
Mhm.
Probably, fifth from the bottom if you took and ran like a ranking of the top 100 glide bait fishermen in America. I'd come in at a hard 95, but I catch a bunch of fish on them. And the excitement level, okay, just take out of the factor what you actually catch. The excitement level, the anticipation. I mean, it's hunting for fish, big ones. And the fish you see that you can get at with a follow-up bait, which, by the way, for me, as we discussed last week, my most successful so far has been a smaller bootfoot, like a 3.8 to a 4.8.
Can't wait to throw that thing.
Just saying.
Weight that sucker down there, man.
So here's the deal. If you want to do it now. Do it now, because now is prime time.
Yeah.
Your reservoirs are getting to the proper temperature.
Yeah.
The fall feed is on. It's only going to get better. The farther southeast you go, it's not quite there yet. But if you look at this Bass Nation Championship on the Mississippi River, those fish in 2 days have gone and put the bag on.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get better. Here, it's on, and it's only going to get better. If you have a yen for it and you want to get into it, and you're totally novice to it,
this is it.
talk to us.
Yeah.
We're not talking about getting crazy here.
Yeah, you only have to get a couple baits.
Matter of fact, give me 1 second.
There was a fella in here today, Nick, that he was like, man, I got to get on this game. I need to figure it out. I need a glide bait and I need a rubber bait, and he was thinking that he had to buy a whole pile of stuff. So I showed him the hog father, and I showed him for a good glide bait for him that affordable. And then I showed him the mag drafts and the swags, and he picked out, one or two of each. And man, he's like, man, this is great. I can get into this kind of fishing and it's not killing me. So he's real excited about it.
So, I mean, really, we're not talking about carrying a bunch of baits here. Carry a small assortment that have proven well. Of course, the Chad Shad. Of course, the Eco Clutch. Love this Arma joint from. This thing is bad to the bone. And there's probably a couple other ones in here that are similar. And there's probably a couple tied up in the boat that aren't in here. But that's like, this is a really good one too. That's like River to Sea S Waver. Super good. And this is really good too. Megabass. Really good. That's it. That'll get you where you need to be. That'll get you more than where you need to be. Rod wise, you don't need anything too crazy, and make sure it can handle 2.5 ounces. have a little bit of a higher capacity reel that you can spool up with some 20 fluoro and go out and join the party.
Yeah. As far as the swags go, the 6-inch and the 5-inch, you could do that on a medium heavy 7 to medium heavy. No problem. 15-pound fluorocarbon.
Yeah, I would do the
swags.
I would do the 6-inch swag on a. I mean, you could do it on a medium heavy. I'd do it on a heavy. Medium heavy will work, but I would do it on a heavy with 20, and the 5-inch. Medium heavy with 15 all freaking day long. And those glides, 7.6 to 8 foot heavy, 20-pound fluoro, decent capacity reel all day long. You can, it's a lot more, there's a lot more like mystique around it than reality. You got a flipping stick, a heavy 8-foot flipping stick, you're good to go. And then as you grow into it, Now, having said that, we have a new soft glide from Berkeley, and it's called the Chop Block. And it's perfect for this time of the year. This is the 6-inch. They do make an 8 and a 10. We currently have the 6 in stock. And it's got a lot going on down here. So you got the mesh body, you got the ability for the lazy S pattern, the chop does all that. You got a magnetic deal back here with a little elbow-shaped hook on the back of some heavy braid, treble hook, kind of a mag draft harness. Myself, this right here, we're going to make some changes to. I'm either going to take this whole thing off and make my own little harness up with 2 split rings, a swivel, and a hook, or I'm going to cut this off. Okay, that back hook's not needed at all. And this right here, I like this clip. Now, if they're too tight, again, I will tweak them with my pliers and just kind of open that up a little bit because this one's a little tight. But this bait's pretty cool. It's called the Chop Block 6-inch. It's $15.99. It's 1 ounce. Got some real nice bluegill color. You're going to fish this on the same rod you're going to fish the mag draft on or the swag. Look at that, man. That one right there, I really like. There's a little bit of, if you look at that real close, this is called
burnt bone.
Burnt bone. If you look at that real close, there's kind of like almost a flesh color to it. Here's another one I really like. It's got like a yellow belly on it. I'd call it yellow belly, but they call it something else.
Here, let me see. That's honey pot. That's honey pot. A little bit of yellow belly on that.
So that's your Chop Block. $15.99. The 6-inch is 1 ounce. And you got that gizzard shad profile.
Yeah. And all this stuff, guys, you can really kind of see great pictures of up close and personal on our website, sfttackle.com. We got them under the new products list right now. So they're easy to find right on the front page. You can click on the new products. You can check them out. You can see what they're all about. You can really look at the colors. They got great pictures on there that really blow the pictures up nice and the colors, and you can see them for what they're all about. So go ahead, jump on there, check them out, get them ordered up because there is some limited supply going on with some of this stuff. And they're talking about things coming in later, you getting a batch now and you're getting a batch later. So, a lot of times when we bring this to you, you guys are seeing it first. You're going to get to it first. So, make sure you jump on it as quick as you can.
Yeah, and I would get my swim bait game on.
Mhm.
You know, they hit the bait so hard. Now, one thing I found interesting with mag draft type baits, quite often that first hard strike, there's nobody home. Don't set the hook. I repeat, do not set the hook. Keep winding. You probably won't get more than another turn of the handle, and it's going to happen. But yeah, that's a thing with those.
It's frustrating. It's frustrating, George, because you're throwing for a long time sometimes before you really get that bite. And then when you get that bite, it's hard not to set the hook.
Well, that's your problem.
No, it's your problem too.
I mean, if you're good at
it's everybody's
fishing,
problem.
then that's, you're going to have to get over that.
It is. It's something you have to get over. You got to talk about it.
Wow.
I mean, I think we should have a conversation about it.
I'm just saying, this is no good.
It's a conversation piece.
It's no good. It's no good. Move on.
I mean, I've swung on them when I shouldn't have, but I was like, you've been throwing for half an hour without a bite. And all of a sudden you get this bam, and you set the hook. And it's so hard just to say, whack, and then keep reeling. And then it's like whack, whoomp. You know what I'm saying, Nick? You know what that means, whack, whoomp.
Well, yeah, and it makes me wonder with this new swag, especially, for both of you, are you guys going to use it with the bottom hook, or are you going to try it with the top hook?
Depends on the cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the thicker cover, I'm going top hook.
We're going to mess with it. And I'll tell you another thing about that, Nick. Give that to Nick so he can hold it. That thing is soft. See how soft that is? They're going to hold on to that thing like crazy. I mean, they're going to chew that thing, but it's really that, what George is saying, when you get that bite, keep reeling. I mean, it's almost like hard to do.
Well, it's the same thing with a little boot foot on a ball head. Never set the hook on the bite because a lot of times they're not there.
Yeah.
You just turn that handle one more time or a half a time.
Yeah, but on a small boot foot jig, you're getting a lot more bites. That's where the problem comes in. It's the discipline. And it's like jerk baiting when we go on and on and on about the pause and the slack line and pause, how important that is. It's the same thing with this thing. You got to go on and on and on about it to help our listeners really burn it in your head. It's a double tap. It really is. It's a double hit. And you really got to put that in your head because, these baits, you're going to get some bites on them. Don't get me wrong. But it's not like you're going to get on a little small boot foot. You're going to get a lot more bites on a 3.5 or a 4-inch boot foot than you are on a 5-inch or a 6-inch swim bait. It's just, you're just going to get a lot more bites. So you got to be disciplined that when you're reeling along, you get that whack. I mean, the first thing you want to do is just go. It's just human nature. So it's one of those things where you got to hear it over and over and over. And that's why even when we talk about jerk bait and the slack line jerk bait and how important it is to have the slack line, over and over. Don't reel up, don't reel up, don't reel it up. Jerk, jerk, leave the line go, This is the same thing. So that's why I'm making a big stink about it because we got to burn that in our heads. We got to hear this. Got to hear it over and over and over.
I used to have teachers like that in school. And I'd just bust out a big old dip of skull and sit back there and tune the hell out.
Maybe you should have listened a little more in school.
Yeah, man.
Who knows where you'd be today, George?
I mean, I'm just telling them.
Man, who knows where you would be today if you listened in school? You could be like,
I could own a tackle shop.
You could be a Bass Pro. Who knows?
Okay. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about is Mega Bass Respect. Yeah. Everybody likes the Respect series. Well, there's a new one. As it turns out.
It's almost like some kind of crazy thing that drug at something that comes through the door,
Well, I really like this one. Not that it matters, but we're going to look at it. So, Respect, latest Respect from Mega Bass is GP Saffron. And this is kind of interesting. So we have, here's a Vision 110. Of course, we have that nice, it's a gold.
See-through gold almost.
Phantom. With a little bit of like a brown coppery back, orange belly, peachy. This is like stealth gold blackback. If you were an old road guy back in the day, you fished a gold blackback, orange belly on a cloudy day, and nobody would tell you anything different. This is like a stealth, pimped out version of that. This is like, I mean, it's the Phantom. It's got the cop. I mean, it's just incredible. This is a color that I'm talking. This is must have. I'm gonna have a couple. So we got it in 110, 110 plus 1, 110 Junior, Junior plus 1, Pop Max.
Love that.
That's a dog walking fool right there.
I love a Pop Max.
Pop X.
We got everything.
I'm not done yet.
Dang.
One of my favorites. Giant Dog X.
Jeez.
Look at that. And a crowd favorite, Karashi.
Holy crud. We got the whole gamut in it. That's awesome.
Got a pile of them in stock. Unfortunately, they're not on the website. Was not able to accomplish that. So you're going to have to call or come in for those. They are here. And we are happy with that. Mega Bass Respect GP Saffron.
Beautiful.
I like it. Restock alert. I got 3 more pieces I'm going to run past you on what I call the speed round. And then we're going to talk about something else. Restock alert. The Jackhammer Morning Dawn.
Uh-oh.
Back in the house.
Uh-oh.
Large quantities in stock. No need form an orderly line. No need to, just be kind to your fellow man. You don't have to break the speed limit. I got lots of them, okay? We're talking large numbers. Back in stock, baby. And a whole bunch of trailer options. Like, while I was waiting for these things to make their way across the big pond, I went trailer option shopping. Oh, and we have a lot. So it's going to be fun talking that with you here at the shop. Restock alert. Okay. If you like to shake a minnow, you need to know about this. These are about as rare as they get. This is the Horizon Head LG. LG stands for large gap. Let's look at one of those up close. So we have our weight distributed down the shaft. We have the large gap hook, almost an extra wide gap, if you will. We have the 2 keepers. But what's cool about this, if you're fishing a bulkier minnow bait, like this Wingman, or like this six-inch scented jerk shad, you want a little more hook. So let me rig this up real quick. and show you what this bad boy looks like. Now we have a 2.0 hook here. We have a 2.0 hook. We have 5.2 grams.
What's that, George?
3/16.
Yeah.
Come on. We have English, USA, American packaging coming on the next shipment, but it's going to be like a little bit of like transition. But check this out. Lay this out, okay? Because this is elastomer. You want to get this right. So kind of eyeball that. But if you look at the back of this bait, this is a Nomad Wingman. There's little holes in there where the hook comes out. So second hole back, I can do that. And nice and straight. Look what that gap does. Ooh, son. Look at that.
Yeah. You're going to stick them suckers.
Look at that.
You're not coming off with that.
Look at that. So that's your Horizon Head LG back in stock. Your Morning Dawn Jackhammer back in stock. G-Crack restock. Next shipment is the end of November. This shipment is but it's not bad. The next shipment, it's going to be like, back her up over here, truck driver. So we got you covered on that. And with that, I want to thank everybody for listening to Tackle Talk. And I got some other good stuff I want to go with my boys here. I want to get some conversation going. Oh! You know, you might be the worst producer in the history of producing.
I can't think of which one it is.
Oh! You should label them.
Okay, I got it.
That was good. That was well done. Yeah. So, guys, I know you guys are following this Bass Nation Championship in lacrosse, Mississippi River.
Good stuff.
Bucket list stuff for us.
Yep.
And this one's setting up to be
Killing it.
pretty impressive. So, what you have here is you have your BASS Nation members fishing for the Bassmasters Classic. 3 of them are going to the Classic. One of them is going to be invited to the Elite Series and be provided the use of a boat, fully rigged.
Damn. What's that called? The Dream Package
Nation's
or something?
Best.
Nation's Best?
Yep. Nation's Best.
That'd be awesome. They pay for the gas too?
You might have to work with them on that a little bit.
I think they do. I think give you some gas money.
I'm sure there's a stipend in there.
Yeah.
But, our friend Will Davis made his jump from local dream wrecker to nationwide pro via the Nation. And he not only won it once, but he went back on his free ride for being the return champion and won it again.
Yeah.
So he won that boat package deal twice.
Well, I don't know if they gave it to him the second time.
That's impressive, though.
He got to go to the Classic twice.
And, I mean, I'm not real.
Of course, he was already
familiar.
qualified for the Classic the second time. So what he did was help out that next elite guy that was like,
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
looks like Will Davis might win this.
But, George,
Cancel my plans this weekend.
how do you get into this tournament?
Well, there's a couple. They keep changing it, and I love it. I mean, this is near and dear to my heart. I love it. They keep changing it, so now you can get in through your federation. So your federation can have like a championship, and it's based on your participation, however many people. and you can qualify 1 or 2 or 3 anglers. That's on this side of the bracket. On this side of the bracket, they have the and I apologize, I forget what they call it, but it's like the bracket shootout. And there's 4 teams, there's 4 divisions where teams go in and fish, and certain finishing anglers get in that way. And then you can also get in through the foreign bass nation. So they have Spain here.
Yeah.
They have Japan here. They have Italy here. They have
South Africa.
Canada here. They have South Africa here.
Mm-hmm.
And also you have a bunch of like former tour pros who joined clubs to be able to qualify for this as a shot to get back.
Well, that's the big thing. The club thing still has a way of getting in. You know, you go through your club, then you go to your state level
for the average
events,
guy,
and then the states have a tournament that so many of those people that ever, you know, I think it is based on participation out of your state. So many of those people, it might be 4, 6, 8. I don't know. Some people said that there was like a lot more. You know, they got like 8 or 10 from different places, but based on participation. And then you go to I guess a regional thing, and then out of that region they take so many, and there you go.
That's
right?
what I was saying. There's
yeah,
the state side, and then there's the bracket side.
Yeah.
Is that how the guy from Hawaii got his chance in the elites?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Yeah. The club thing is real, dude. The club fishing thing is a real thing. If you want to take it that way, it's a real deal.
As we see.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear of Brandon Palaniuk?
Yeah.
Will Davis?
I mean, George, that's how George qualified for the Classic twice, was through starting at the club, fishing against me, beating my ass.
That was easy.
Going to the next one, you know, going to the next level and then beating all their asses and going to the next level. You know, it just was a stepping stone, but it was all done at club level. And that's what's so beautiful about this thing. It really gives the average Joe an avenue to get to the Classic.
So check this out.
On the Bass Nation side.
They're on the Mississippi out of La Crosse.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a 4-day tournament. So you got a maximum of 250 boats. And I think they came in a tad under that. So after today, they're going to cut to 40. And the weigh-in's over now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to cut to 40 boaters and co-anglers. And they're going to fish tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And then tomorrow, they're going to cut to 10. And the top co. So tomorrow's weigh-in, they're going to crown the co-champion. He's going to get $10,000 in cash. And he's going to be able to fish out of his boat on Saturday. Championship Saturday. So, and anybody else that was a co-angler whose weight was equal to or higher than the lowest weight in that top 10. So let's just say the lowest guy in the top 10 had 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Any co-angler after tomorrow that has 25 pounds or more will fish on Championship Saturday, as well as the top finishing co-angler and the 10 boaters.
And the co-anglers have a chance to go hit all them marks too. The elites,
yeah,
that's cool.
Well, the ones that make it to Saturday, the other ones are fishing for $10,000 and then on down payout on down the line. This is interesting. We got here's some of the guys that are on my radar screen. Not the only people on my radar screen, but these are 3 or 4 guys that are on my radar screen because I fished with them for decades. Kurt Dove runs Hayabusa out of Texas. Tour angler for 40 years. Paul Batters, very, very long time SFT supporter out of Maryland, fishing for maybe Delaware, but probably Maryland. Brian LeClaire. Ditto to Paul Batters. Brian's made it to the Classic through this tournament. Greg Alexander out of Delaware. He's been to this tournament 12 times or more.
Joshua Weinbrenner.
Yeah, Josh is fishing on the co-angler side.
Yeah.
And he's a longtime SFT supporter. So, we have a lot of local people we're watching and friends of the shop, and there's many, many more. I mean, Garrett Paquette's fishing. I couldn't write them all down because my notebook's not that big. So tomorrow we're going to see a little more detail, but I think some of what's going on here is crankbait fishing. Now, it's probably a lot of jigs. There's a lot of sand breaks on this river that they Carolina rig. I know the jig's in play, and I'm sure finesse is in play, but I think you're going to find out this top guy, this Nick Trim, who's a local, is employing a chatterbait and a crankbait.
I think you're going to see a jerkbait be a big player in this too.
Okay, that's a good call.
Yeah.
This Nick Trim, he's got 40 pounds. He had a 6-pound smallmouth on day one.
Jeez. Oh.
He's local.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about what he's doing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Garrett Paquette, I didn't get a chance to see him weigh in today. I don't know where he's at.
He's in like 38th.
38th, so he's fishing tomorrow. He's keeping the dream alive. Now, you got to be in the top 3 to make the Classic. Roy Hawk, who was tough on the elites. He wasn't 36. He's probably in that range. But here's my 2 guys that I'm following. And he wasn't 10th before the show started. His name is Aaron Yavorsky. Aaron Yavorsky, when he was 19, fished this tournament. And let's just say he qualified to fish the 2024 Classic.
Yeah.
And now he's 21 years old, and he's in really good position to do it again. So Aaron Yavorsky from Florida, we got our eyeball on you. And in 15th place, when we started the show, Connor Jacob, who fished this year's Classic.
Oh, wow.
As a Federation angler, 25 years old.
Wow.
Connor could go back-to-back as a Federation angler.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
I don't think it's covered on any kind of TV show or anything like that.
The final day, they'll have cameras in the boats.
Final day.
Yep.
So not tomorrow, but Saturday.
Tomorrow, they're going to have the photo albums.
Yeah.
Bass Track.
Yeah. Bass Track's live. You can just go right to Bassmaster and follow it right on Bassmaster.
But I think this Nick Trim guy's cranking, and I wanted to talk a little bit about cranking with you guys. Nick and I were talking about it earlier when your computer sounded like it was launching down the taxi.
Oh, I didn't know if we were going to have a show.
Oregon.
I never heard that ever after a Windows update. I never heard that ever in my entire life.
But while you were dealing with that fun stuff, Nick and I were talking about crankbait fishing, some of the things we wanted to convey. And this is not random. This is you're about to get some exposure on fall cranking personal observations and rules that we follow. Well, I'm going to give you the rules I follow. I got some baits here that we're going to talk about. Obviously, the square bill plays. It's huge. So now, a lot of crankbait fishermen are all about, at what point, at what water temperature do I stop fishing a square bill and do I start fishing a flat side? When they stop biting the square bill. That's the water temperature for that. And the flat side, I don't ever stop fishing it. So
Fish the flat side all the time.
All the time.
It really, I like it in colder water too. Cooler,
Love it.
cooler,
Love it.
cooler water.
Love it in colder water, but we're going to have a cold water crankbait show. This is just this. You know what got me thinking about this, guys? This Nick trim. So, you know, obviously your money bait is going to be your 1.5 square bill. This can't be emphasized enough. This is a KVD 1.5. This happens to be his Elite Series, and I like the Elite Series for two reasons. It has some different colors. Like I like that shad color. I like a green back on a shad, darker back on a shad, but it's already got the treble, the Mustad treble grips on it, triple grips on it. I like that. The short shank. I'm going to put them on anyways, or a round Bengami. So now I can take the thing out of the box, tie it on. I don't have to change my hooks. That 1.5 is your money fall bait. This is going to cover you from the bank out to like 5-6 foot of water. You know, and I don't know about you, Nick, but, you know, some of the guys up north say that they like to crank these above the fish, particularly smallmouth. I like to make a lot of contact.
I was going to say, I'm hitting every cover I can hit. I mean, that's just me. I've seen it happen on the northern lakes where guys were, but what I've seen a lot of times is they were like almost burning it above vegetation, submerged vegetation. But if I'm looking local, for me, I love banging into every stump, every log, everything I can hit.
100%. And, you know, Mike, this is a game of casting accuracy.
Mm.
If this Nick Trim's throwing this square bill, he's making some good casts.
Mm-hmm.
And what I like about this square bill right here, I really like the 1.5 a lot. What I like about this is I can crank grass. I can crank milfoil. I can crank eelgrass, wood, rock. This comes through wood exceptionally well. Very, very rarely will you hang this bait to the point where you don't get it back. And, you know, one of my tricks and one of Mike's tricks that we're big on is as soon as that bait gets hung up, we are conditioned to not jerk. You will never see that bait get tight and us jerking on it. It ain't going to happen. The first thing we're going to do is pop it. We're going to get an arm load of line and stretch, snap, and pop. And what's going to happen is that bait's going to back out of there, and we're going to continue that retrieve in the strike zone.
But George, you were talking about, you know, vegetation, hardcover. Are you guys using the same rod in both situations, or are you using different?
Well, when I'm in cover, wood and grass, I personally don't use a crankbait rod. I use a 7-foot medium fast. That's just me. I want a little more stiffness to that rod, simply to turn her head quicker.
Not only that, but you can clean your hooks.
Right.
You can clean your hooks with a hardcover. You know, I'll use a crankbait rod all day long, and I believe in them 100%. You know, but in the grass, you have to be able to clean your hooks. You know, by that snap, that chop, and you're never going to do it with a glass rod. It just loads up, and you waste your time. You waste a lot of time. You know, reeling up, peeling with the medium action graphite rod. It's soft enough that when you hook a fish, it's not like this big heavy thing that, you know, you're not going to be able to land a fish. It's soft enough to get the landing part done, but it's stiff enough that you can snap it and clean it off. Vegetation.
So, you know, to kind of abbreviate this a little bit, because we're coming up on the end of the show here, you know, this time of the year, the square bill game, and when you're on them gizzard shad bodies of water and you see them bigger gizzard shad, put a 2.5 on. Game changer. Okay, we're gonna pop.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. We're gonna pop through a couple other of our baits that are key. Love a fritz side. Number 5. Love a fritz side number 5. Don't get it wrong. And that color right there is universal. Okay? Absolutely love the 2 sizes of Little John. Very, very good. This color on the bottom is called Cellmate. Cellmate is one of the best as fall's cooling off and you're getting that cold punch and them fish are getting a little gamey. That is one of the best shad colors ever made for the fall. And then quickly, the DT family, particularly the 6, 8, and 10.
I didn't think you even have to say that. That's how great those things are.
Yeah, and
the DT series is one of the greatest crankbaits out there.
And it's got a tighter wobble. And as I was kind of like, because we talked about this a little bit, as I was kind of trying to pick out like some power crankbaits that we really like, I'm walking by all these other ones. I'm like, well, I really like that one, and I really like that.
There's a lot of them,
and I really like this one. But this is kind of like baits that you can use to establish whether or not there's a crankbait bite and to establish what kind of wiggle they want. Because I can go from that 1.5, 2.5, which is my widest wobble of all these. And then I can go to my DT, and it tightens up considerably. And then I can go to my Fritz side, and then I can go to my Little John. Now, the medium diver Little John's a little wider than the shallow Little John. And I can kind of dial that in. And I'm going to show you an old school bait that is a shad color. It's old school. I don't leave the dock without a couple of them. It's a member of, the Bandit family. It's the 200 in root beer. That thing is money. Straight up money. 6 foot of water, 5 foot of water, mid.
There you go.
There you have it, boys.
Yeah, I mean, how important is that? You can just go with those baits right there. Honestly, with that right there, that selection of baits right there, and you figure it out in a
That's
day.
what I was going to say. George did
You
a
don't
heck of
know-
a job going and picking out, but
You don't need to go with a gigantic freaking 5 tackle boxes that George has.
Whoa,
Crankbaits.
whoa. This is America.
I was waiting.
Here it comes. Honestly, for this time of year, that's a perfect setup. Flat sides.
Don't cast shade on my crankbait collection.
The 1.5s, the 2.5s, the flat sides, and then the DTs, which you got to be throwing.
But you guys always talk about, and you do a great job at this, saying, use your equipment and then, base it around there.
Yeah.
So for all those crankbaits, if you were going to say, okay, I'm throwing 10 pound, is that what you're basing it off of? Or are you basing off of 12?
No. When I'm up shallow, I'm throwing 15.
Okay.
If I'm hitting the bottom in 6 or 8 feet or less, I'm throwing 15. If I'm open water fishing in the colder water, if it's clear, I drop to 10. It's a little risky, but again, going back to the quality of the fluorocarbons we have, I fish a high seas 100%. I fish a Sunline FC Sniper, and I fish a Seaguar Tatsu. And I got to tell you, I am not scared.
If I'm not in grass,
you can ask Mike.
If I'm not in grass, I'm throwing glass rod 10-pound test.
We fished our last.
What I'm doing.
Our last year's winter league. I fished nothing but a yo-yo and a trap off the bottom in rock. That's all I did for every tournament, almost all day, every day, on 10-pound high seas, 100%. Retied, but I never broke a fish off.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And I got snagged 1.8 million times. And I popped it loose.
Yeah.
1.7999 times.
And then a lot of times, Nick, when you're in that deeper water, you're glass rod. And those glass rods will just absolutely whoop ass on a 5-pounder. They just the fish doesn't have a chance. Really, honestly. Smallmouth or largemouth.
A lot of fun.
switchblades, or knives. I mean,
A lot of good stuff.
It's a regular.
A lot of good stuff.
All right, George.
Hey, I'm sorry. I had a few more things I wanted to get to tonight. Next week, we're going to talk about the mushroom cloud over Bentonville, Arkansas. That can be seen from space currently.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to talk about the flux gill. And much, much more, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. And we'll catch you on the next Tackle Shop Live.
Sunny day, right there you took my breath away. Young and pretty, was it just a dream? The next day you called me up, you told me I'm your little buttercup. You came over and you fell into my arms. Well, I know what I feel. Please tell me your love is real. You make me smile when I think of you. If I am down low and I am blue, I can't get enough. You make me happy, I feel so fine. Oh, how I wish that you were mine. I can't get enough. I woke up all soaked in sweat, with chills running down my neck. I'm going crazy from just the thought.